A lot of people said this one got snubbed by the Academy this year, especially since so many other awards programs did recognize it. But now you can see for yourself it is streaming on Hulu. Let's talk about All of Us Strangers. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film All of Us Strangers. I say new, it's not really new. It came out in very limited release at the end of December, just in time for consideration for the awards, which, like I mentioned, the Academy did not recognize it. But now you can stream it on Hulu, so it is now much more widely available. That's how I was able to finally watch it. So before we launch into the specifics of this movie, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day something new goes up. So there's always a lot to check out. Please consider subscribing, hit that like button, comment below. Of course, all of that stuff helps the channel out, and I do appreciate it. All right, so let's get to this one. All of Us Strangers. The Academy, personally, I think maybe missed the mark a little bit on this one. Slight spoiler for my grade and my review, I guess. But it was, nominated for many, many other awards, including the Golden Globes had it nominated for Best Actor in a drama for Andrew Scott. And this is sort of a two-hander a little bit, but it definitely is more Andrew Scott's movie than anything. And his performance here is really outstanding. But we'll talk about that in just a second. First, let me give you a little bit about the movie. Andrew Scott, by the way, you may know from a few different things, but he is probably most recognizable as the hot priest from Fleabag season 2. And his character did have a name, but they just kept calling him the hot priest. So that's maybe these days where he's most widely known. But anyway, he plays Adam. And basically, he is living his life, what have you. In contemporary London, but he has a chance encounter with one of his neighbors, Harry, played by Paul Mescal, who gave us a great performance the year before in After Sun, which I'm pretty sure, did get nominated for. And so, some Oscar love anyway in the cast. But anyway, the two kind of meet, and he notices Harry sort of looking at him, as he's going about his day, whatever, coming back in. And so the two kind of strike up a friendship and a romance, etc. But all the while, Adam is kind of obsessed with this memory of his childhood. So he goes to visit his old house, which is now abandoned. However, his parents, played by Claire Foy and Jamie Bell, who actually died 30 years earlier when when Adam was 12 in a car crash. They appear to be living and just as they were 30 years ago. And so this becomes, a fantasy film, and a romance film, certainly, but a heavy drama as well. This is all based on a 1980s book, by the way, which was already made into a Japanese film about a year or two after the book came out. So this is sort of the second telling of this story. This was directed by Andrew Haig and written as well, who I admit I wasn't super familiar with. I didn't really recognize the name. And looking through his filmography, he hasn't really done anything that I've seen or really almost even heard of. He did a movie called Lean on Pete. He did a movie called 45 Years. Don't know. So this, to me, is his highest profile item. But all right, so that's the basic premise and stuff. Let's get to my thoughts, because I will be honest, I do think the Academy dropped the ball on this. Now, Best Actor, that is a toughie, because this was a stacked year for acting. When I did my Oscars snubs video with my buddy Tim, we both kind of said, well, Zac Efron and the Iron Claw maybe deserved a slot, but who do you take out? We don't know. Maybe Coleman Domingo, but that was such a great performance too. But look, this was definitely up there for me for greatest performances of the year. This movie hits on a lot of different levels, because of course you have that fantasy aspect, but you have emotional scenes both in those moments and outside. He's kind of finding himself with this neighbor, and as they're developing their relationship, as their relationship, is really putting itself through the paces and getting stronger. He still comes back to those moments as a child with his parents, and it works on so many different levels, because I feel like a lot of us kind of still have that, okay, what if, or, my parents are both, still with us, and a lot of my grandparents lived through, my 20s and whatever. So, that idea of losing somebody so young, and still having so much to say to them. For example, he never got the chance to come out to them. Not a lot of kids at 12 end up coming out to their parents yet. So, that is some pretty heavy stuff with, them dealing with it, and him, kind of reacting to their reactions, and at the same time, living this very, very open life in the present day, being out and going to, these gay clubs with his new romance and all of this. I was thinking, did this movie hit me more as a gay man? And honestly, maybe a little, but for the most part, not really. I feel like these themes are so universal, of loss and grief, and discovering who you are, and all of this kind of thing, that I think you could apply it to a lot of different kinds of people, a lot of different lifestyles. I don't think it necessarily, is a gay movie, even though obviously, the main characters are gay. So I thought that was really interesting too, because that took me a couple days. I saw this, I think 3 days ago, and I've sort of been thinking about, okay, like, did this movie hit me so hard because of that, or because it's so well done? And I actually really lean towards the latter. I think this is a movie that can really, really be very emotional for anybody. And then the ending, which we're not going to get into, we're not going to do spoilers, but the ending is tricky, because how is this kind of going to resolve with the parents? Is this just going to be part of his life now, or what actually is going to happen? And they stuck the landing so hard. I mean, it really made this an all-timer for me. I was like, I was enjoying it. It was good. And then the last, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, it just sucker punches you a couple of different times. Now, I will admit, the very, like, last shot to me is a little corny. Again, we won't talk about it, but, that maybe brought it down a stitch. But I really was impressed with, a good movie, a very good movie, becoming an absolutely great movie by the end. And that's in no small part due to the performance by Andrew Scott. So yeah, when it comes down to it, I think he probably was snubbed by the Academy, but I think the movie was in general, because personally, I think this movie was better than definitely over half of the Best Picture nominees, and I think Andrew Haig could have gotten an adapted screenplay credit as well for this from the Academy. But look, that's crying over spilled milk at this point. The Oscars are over. Who cares? But this is one to check out for sure. And now, luckily, we can. This is on Hulu. I leave All of Us Strangers with an A. This is one that I think will stick with you for a little while. All right. Thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It, and we'll see you next time. Bye.